Wednesday morning under mostly clear skies, 3 degrees below zero to start the day. It is 14 below zero for a wind chill.
Makes a difference. Here's your regional weather.
Sunny skies on this Wednesday with a high of 20 degrees. Wind chills between 0 and 10 degrees below zero with a calm south-southwest wind today. Increasing clouds tonight, lows around 15 degrees. Wind chills between 0 and 10 degrees with south winds at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Chances of flurries and even rain mixed in throughout the day on Thursday. Temperatures in the mid-30s. Chances of early flurries Thursday night with lows around 13. Friday sunny. Temperatures in the lower to mid-20s. Into the weekend, Saturday sunny, a high of 30, and Sunday sunny with a high in the mid-30s. Across central Illinois on this Wednesday morning, right now, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures in Bloomington at 4 degrees below zero, 6 degrees below zero in Hayworth, 4 below zero in Leroy, 3 degrees below zero in Farmer City, 2 below in Champaign, 3 below in Monticello, 0 degrees in Decatur, 3 degrees below zero in Mount Pulaski and Lincoln, a degree below zero in Springfield, and also Peoria. 3 degrees below zero under partly cloudy skies early this morning. Wind chills of 14 degrees below zero. Northwest winds are calm, 71% humidity with 10 miles of visibility here this morning. Get the latest in local weather at DeWittDailyNews.com.
From Regional Radio, DeWittDailyNews.com and the WHOW app. This is local information making a difference.
Thanks for being with us here on this Wednesday. Coverage of news this morning is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. A solar energy ordinance is being sent back to the DeWitt County Zoning Board of Appeals and the Regional Planning Commission last Thursday night. The DeWitt County Board meeting, Terry Ferguson indicates the culmination of around 6 meetings worth of discussions on updating the county's solar code was brought forward.
We quickly reviewed our solar ordinance kind of peaked out at a facility of 2 megawatts, maybe 10 acres of space. And we're starting to get requests for potentially a 1,700 acre facility of a 200 megawatt capacity. We wanted to bring our ordinance up to address that scale of a project. The land use committee worked on it, made some recommendations and passed it along. Ordinances have to be processed through the RPC, then the ZBA, and then on to the county board. So we gave them a model to work from. RPC reviewed it over a period of, I believe, 6 different meetings they had, made some changes. The main difference was that the land use committee made the recommendation that they be allowed on agricultural ground and rural development number 1, which is highway frontage ground. That might be commercial type property. We've seen that other states have some of these wind or solar projects, in the cloverleaf of the interstate and in ground near the interstate exchanges. So we thought maybe that'd be a good place for it. However, the ZBA looked at putting them in industrial zones.
A few of the proposals around where there could be solar farms erected were done so without legal counsel, and Ferguson says there were some pitfalls to those changes. So the ordinance will be sent back to the RPC and the ZBA for further review.
And I guess in the absence of legal counsel, that recommendation was made. And problem is DeWitt County has no unused industrial properties. The only industrial zone ground we've got is around the Arcosa wind tower factory. There's a little bit out here by the FSA office and the old Revere plant.
Right.
Of course, the power plant it's never been officially rezoned, but it's definitely an industrial site. But that would leave us with an ordinance directing people to put projects where we have no place to put them. So we wanted to send that back to the ZBA and the RPC for further review and consideration. There was one gentleman that represented and 2 gentlemen that represented families that own the farm ground that's being proposed for the solar entities, explained what they've done in other counties. It's not quite like a wind farm, granted the whole farm is covered up, but there's no big massive concrete structures for decommissioning. You can pull their theory is you can pull all the posts out of the ground and put the corn planter back in the field and start planting again.
Ferguson believes solar energy in the county is going to be much less divisive as wind energy was, and he also believes for those that are opposed to the potential projects, it is very concerning. Last week, the United Way of Decatur and Mid-Illinois announced they would be expanding on the program Dolly Parton's Imagination Library into DeWitt County. Tuesday morning on the WHOW Morning Show, Executive Director of the Neighborhood Care Center in Clinton, Cody Monkman, told Regional Radio they are now a sign-up location for this program that is absolutely free to any child in DeWitt County ages 0 to 5 years old.
Real quick, because this is fresh off the press, I know you guys have talked about it here, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Mm-hmm.
United Way has made that possible through their funding and their donors. I believe the Warner Library in Clinton is kind of help facilitate getting families connected to that as well for DeWitt County. And then Neighborhood Care Center is also a location that families can sign up to sign their child up to be a part of the Imagination Library. Okay. I did it for Zion. It's for children 0 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be a citizen of DeWitt County, and you've got to be 0 to 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What's really cool is when the book gets mailed to the residency, it's got your child's name on it, so the child feels like they're receiving mail. From what I understand, Dolly also sends some kind of video on the birthday of the child.
According to Monkman, literacy can be a great skill for self-empowerment, and he believes this will be a very worthwhile program in the community.
When I actually read the article on DeWitt Daily News about it, and I reached out to United Way and just gave them a thumbs up on how awesome that is. Coming from education, I very much believe and can see where literacy skills very much help empower the individual into whatever direction of life they want to go.
Totally.
So I'm a huge fan of getting books in the hands of young people. And so I jumped on board and I said, Neighborhood Care Center would like to be a part of that and help make it happen. So
get more information about registering for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library by calling the Neighborhood Care Center at 217-935-6844. If you're finding yourself tired at various points of the day, a doctor who trains some of the nation's top athletes has a few recommendations for you. Dr. Jim Lavelle is a clinical pharmacist and the clinical director of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Performance Health Program, and on the WHOW Morning Show Tuesday, recommended getting a blood test to check your magnesium levels. He says most people don't get enough magnesium in their diets.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's a couple things. First of all, if your energy's really low and you can't figure out why, make sure you go and get a blood test, because you could be anemic. A lot of people don't realize that, but it could be B12, it could be iron, it could be folic acid. Any number of those will make you feel tired. So you should get that checked out by your doc. Real simple. The next one is get magnesium. Nobody gets enough magnesium because nobody is eating vegetables. So unless you breathe it in the air, you're not going to get enough magnesium in your diet. And magnesium is what drives your muscles, especially if you're working out. So magnesium, real important.
Adaptogens are herbs with benefits that help your brain function. Dr. Lavelle recommends herbal supplements like Rhodolia, Tonkat Ali, and says numerous studies have offered several benefits for Tonkat Ali.
And then once you get past that, then this is this whole category that I love, which is adaptogens. So adaptogens are herbs and that actually help your brain tell your body to withstand stress better. That sounds kind of wild, but when you hear it, it really is your brain. What is it? The central command. And when you're taking adaptogens like rhodiola, or one that we mentioned on break, Tonkat Ali. Tonkat Ali is awesome because when people get under stress, their sex hormones get turned off. because your body can only choose one of two things. Either, hey, let's get busy, or, oh my God, I got to run away from a saber-toothed tiger. So your body says, hey, forget about the sex hormones. We got stress hormones to make.
Mm-hmm.
So when you use an herb like Tangat it actually has got really good studies behind it to keep your testosterone to cortisol ratio up. Why is that important? Testosterone to cortisol ratios are directly correlated to physical performance. So if you're out there walking, exercising, going to the Y, hitting the weights, whatever you're doing, CrossFit, I don't care what it is, you want to make sure that the stress hormones aren't overcoming you.
According to Dr. Lavelle, several supplements can also help with energy levels. He recommends rhodiola and Tonkat Ali as a few, as well as ashwagandha, ginseng, and a supplement he's recommended on regional radio before, Relora.
And then in terms of energy, the big adaptogens for energy, ashwagandha, rhodiola, ginseng. I love Tangat Ali. And then probably the new one on the out there is something called Thai ginseng, which actually it's kind of weird. It's really not ginseng. They call it ginseng. It's kind of one of those weird things that whatever herb helps your energy in every culture, we end up calling it ginseng, where it may not actually be from the ginseng family. It's kind of odd.
If you're a female, Dr. Lavelle says you can still take many of these supplements. He says there are benefits of these supplements for women.
Yeah, actually, Tangat Ali was studied in both men and women. So it helps. Once again, women do have some testosterone, and when their testosterone goes down, their sex drive can go down. Their mood can erode. So it's normal for both men and women. Men need estrogen. Women need testosterone. Men need a lot more testosterone. Women need a lot more estrogen. But if you work out and you start to plummet your sex hormones, that starts to change mood, recovery, and energy performance. And so Tangat Ali actually has been studied in both men and women. And in one study, they actually showed in both men and women that mood improved 11 to 13%, strength significantly improved, and overall kind of view or quality of life improved as well. So I like it for both men and women.
Dr. Lavelle says these are great supplements to pair with perhaps that vitamin C or D many started doing daily during the pandemic, and can be extremely effective to pair with that exercise routine or the shift in your eating habits. It is 19 minutes after the hour here on this Wednesday morning under clear skies in Clinton. It is 3 degrees below zero with a wind chill of 14 degrees below zero. Get the latest in local weather and news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. We've got plenty more coming up on the WHOW Morning Show.
New trucks and SUVs are coming here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. This is Scott Baum. Yes, we have new inventory arriving, and you can see what will arrive right on our website. Just click on the pre-order and reserve tab. From there, you'll find vehicles in transit and vehicles in production. Or just call our sales staff and we'll help. Find Silverados, Equinoxes, Blazers, including Tahoes and Suburbans, as well as our complete Buick line of SUVs. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
It's 20 minutes after the hour this morning. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. Equal Pay Act reporting requirements for large businesses in Illinois goes into effect March 24th. Under new state laws, private employers with more than 100 workers must file for an equal pay certificate with the Illinois Department of Labor. Assistant Director Jason Keller says due to the volume of businesses in Illinois, emails will go out in groups giving employers at least 120 days notice to comply. The first has already been sent.
And we are going to assign a date to employers to register with us. And once they are in compliance with the equal pay law that we have on the books, we will issue them an equal pay registration certificate.
Keller adds this is part of the new Illinois law.
The General Assembly decided that greater regulation was needed to ensure that people of different races, different ethnicities, and different genders are paid equally, and we will be looking over the data to ensure that everyone is paid equally.
Keller notes it could take more than a year for employers to receive notification from the department. This new requirement affects at least 4,700 businesses in Illinois. The Illinois Farm Bureau is following a livestock pricing transparency bill in Washington, D.C.
We advocated for hearings in Congress on this livestock price transparency issue. So where things stand right now, there is a bill out here in the Senate, and it's Senate Bill 3229. It's Senator Fisher and Senator Grassley's bill. There is a companion bill in the House of Representatives that Representative Hartzler has from Missouri. Right now, we're focused on the Senate. The issue here really is around mandatory purchase requirements. Our policy at Illinois Farm Bureau supports a 20% minimum purchase being made on the cash market. And the American Farm Bureau Federation, if you'll recall, when you and I visited about kind of a recap of what occurred at AFBF, I mentioned that the livestock pricing issue was the most debated issue without a doubt. The direction the delegates did at that point in time is they left in the policy book the fact that we as American Farm Bureau oppose that minimum purchasing requirement. So there is a difference here in policy between our state policy and our national policy. That said, the board talked about this a great deal. What we're going to do going forward is to see how this bill progresses. The American Farm Bureau Federation took a position with their special board meeting this week that they would support this bill unless Section 8, which is the section that deals with this mandatory minimum purchase requirement, if it is not removed from the bill, then the American Farm Bureau Federation would oppose the bill.
Illinois Farm Bureau's Director of Governmental Affairs and Commodities, Mark Gebhardt, believes there will be amendments to the bill before the final passage. There's an update on the crude oil market and the impact at the pump. Scott Wilson is the General Manager of Customer Risk Management with Growmark.
A lot of questions about seasonality in the market, things like that. Traditionally, we get a decent pullback. That doesn't always happen, but sometimes November through February. It really hasn't happened this year, so we are getting a lot of questions about that. And then the next question is just how high is this going to go? I'm sure we've seen several different banks with their projections out there, and it seems like each bank keeps going higher and higher with where they're thinking crude could potentially go. It's almost a numbers game of who can go the highest. So I've seen Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley have both said $100 for crude. Bank of America said up to $120. They're thinking for Brent, that's going to put WTI crude, which we care more about over here in the U.S., levels above $115. So that's kind of what's going on with everybody's mind, is how high can this potentially go?
And then, of course, that means what does it mean for the end user, the consumer? That's the question then, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, if you equate that, if you're looking at crude prices over $100, you're looking at just futures prices in the diesel and the gasoline market well above $3, and once you tack on everything, taxes and all that, and you're looking at prices at the pump, you're looking at easily over $3.50, close to $4, depending on where you're located at.
As of Tuesday, the average price of gas in Illinois is $3.48, with the diesel average at $3.63. Optimism remains high among Illinois specialty growers. Randy Graham of Curtis Orchard in Champaign says the industry was able to make some gains during the pandemic.
I think you're right. I mean, there does seem to be an optimism. Specialty growers have really fared quite well through the last couple of years. And, that was all but going into all this stuff. But people have a new appreciation, I think, for local foods. We feel like we are appreciated and understood more by our customers, because with supply chain disruptions, when they know that they can go to a farm directly and purchase some foods, they suddenly appreciate you more than they used to when the grocery store was the main option and they didn't really give you a second thought sometimes. So I'd say there's a lot of optimism in the growers because of the mood of people. The customers' appreciation seems to be more intense than it once was. And we've had a couple of good growing years, and sales have been strong. So there's a lot of growers are expanding in one way or another, and sort of increasing their footprint or their niche in the market, maybe expanding with certain additional products. That there's been 2 good years, and we're hoping for another one to follow that up, and hopefully coming out of this, getting back to normal, of course, is everybody's wish. And we're hoping as things go back to normal that things will get even stronger for us because of how we were able to weather the storm the last couple of years.
Graham is the president of the Illinois Specialty Growers Association. The group held their annual meeting earlier this month. A congressional ethics watchdog has concluded that U.S. Representatives Marie Newman of Illinois and Doug Lamborn of Colorado may have violated federal law, prompting reviews from the House Ethics Committee. Separate investigative reports from the Office of Congressional Ethics released Monday detailed a substantial reason to believe Newman, a Democrat, promised federal employment to a political opponent, and that Lamborn, a Republican, misused official resources for personal purposes. Though the Ethics Office conducts the initial review and makes recommendations, only the House Ethics Committee has the power to punish a lawmaker for wrongdoing. The committee said in a statement Monday it would review the reports and investigate further. The allegations against Newman surfaced out of a legal dispute involving an employment contract between the Illinois Democrat and Eamon Shahid, a former foreign policy advisor during her successful House campaign in 2020. Newman, a progressive lawmaker, unseated Chicago area Representative Dan Lipinski, a staunch abortion opponent and one of the most conservative Democrats in Congress at the time. An attorney representing Newman told the committee in December the Congresswoman cooperates completely with the review, but that OCE has prejudged the matter from the beginning. The Ethics Office report says at the start of her campaign, Newman made Shahid a certain promise about future employment in her congressional office. Those promises were reduced to a contract signed by both parties in 2018, according to the report. When Newman did not hire Shahid, he filed a lawsuit to enforce the contract. He claimed he decided to not run for the congressional seat in 2020 because of the promise that Newman would hire him as a foreign policy advisor during the campaign, then a district or legislative director since she took office. In a motion to dismiss the case, Newman's counsel acknowledged her contract was in violation of House employment and federal contracting rules. Newman ended up settling the case with her former advisor, and the two signed non-disclosure agreements as a part of the settlement. Coverage of news this morning is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters.